010300. Why should we use VMware Tools? You're watching a video covering what is VMware Tools and why we should use it. Alright, so now let's talk about why you should use the VMware Tools. At first glance, the VMware Tools might seem optional, but if you really want to take advantage of what vSphere has to offer, the VMware Tools are vital. VMware Tools is a software package which contains a set of drivers and a small application we install on our guest OS after you have finished installing it. It gives you device drivers specific to VMware virtual devices, and it also installs several communication conduits between the VM and the VM kernel for specific applications. It allows the guest OS to interact better with our ESX host server, so we get better performance as far as graphics and disk connectivity goes, and it adds a few other options that we'll take a look at. For example, vMotion can fail if no guest OS heartbeats are being received, due to guest OS not responding or VMware Tools not configured properly. Although the guest operating system can run without the VMware Tools, you lose important functionality and convenience such as performance or getting your mouse stuck and having to release it out of the virtual machine console if VMware Tools are not installed. So let me tell you what the VMware Tools actually provide. Optimized SCSI driver. VMware Tools contain the VMX-Net network driver for some operating systems, the Bus Logic SCSI driver for some guest operating systems. Enhanced video and mouse performance. Now without the VMware Tools in Windows, as you've seen in some of my previous videos, the mouse will get stuck inside the VMware console for the guest machine, and you will have to hold down Control and press Alt to release your mouse out of the guest virtual machine console. Once the VM Tools are installed in Windows, you no longer have that problem, and there's this automatic mouse synchronization between the guest virtual machine console and your Windows client operating system that you're running the vSphere client in. Now the VMware Tools contain the following drivers. They contain an SVGA driver or a VGA graphics driver, virtual machine heartbeat and time synchronization. First off, they provide time synchronization between the ESX host and the guest OS, and actually the ESX host is the master and the guest OS would be the client, so the guest OS is getting its time from the VMware ESX server, and it's always synchronized once you have the VMware Tools installed. Virtual machine quiescing for snapshots and backups. The VMware Tools contain a sync driver to quiesce I/O if you're using VMware's VCB or VMware's data recovery. And then finally, the VMware Tools contain a mouse driver. Enhanced memory management. And very importantly, for memory performance, VMware Tools contain a memory control driver that allows for efficient memory allocation between virtual machines. VMware ESX Server can use a balloon driver installed with the VMware Tools and force a VM to use less memory than its configured maximum. The VMware Tools package is available for Windows, Linux, NetWare, Solaris, and FreeBSD. However, the installation methods vary because the differences in the guest operating systems. So you get a lot when you install this one VMware Tools package. Now something else the VMware Tools contain is a control panel that allows you to modify settings, potentially shrink virtual disks if it's supported, and connect and disconnect virtual machines. It also allows you to control whether or not you want the time to be synchronized between the guest virtual machine and the host, so that VMware Tools control panel will appear just as a little application that's running inside Windows or Linux, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. The VMware Tools also offer scripts that can run when the power state of the virtual machine changes if you configure them, and really that's inside Linux, not in Windows. Now the VMware Tools are actually in ISO images that are installed when an ESX or ESXi server is installed. So there are ISO images for Linux and Windows that are on each ESX server. One important thing to notice is that without the VMware Tools, the guest OS shutdown and restart options in the vSphere client do not work. Once installed, VMware Tools actually end up as a service or a daemon on Windows or Linux, whichever you're running. If you're running Windows, the service is called VMware Service.exe, and in Linux or Solaris, the VMware Tools service is called the VMware Guest-D. As a final note, make sure you install VMware Tools for maximum performance of the guest OS. It needs to have virtualization optimized drivers that are specially written for and designed to work with the VMware ESX or ESXi hypervisor. VMware Tools provides these optimized drivers as well as other utilities focused on better operation in virtual environments. Always install VMware Tools to provide the optimized SCSI drivers, enhanced virtual NIC drivers, the balloon driver, and support for quiescing the file system during the VMware snapshot process. Use the VMware Tools to complement the Windows time services to synchronize the time on a virtual machine. The Windows Server computer functioning as the PDC emulator operations master should be configured to synchronize time with the same time server used by the ESX or ESXi hosts.